we're going to talk about today how to easily integrate Google Drive into Schoology. So I'm in a typical Schoology course, and you can see here I have various units organized by folders. And I'm going to go into this folder here, and I have already created a folder called Google Integration, just as a place to show you how Google Docs can be integrated into Schoology. So the first way is just to manually create a link. So in this case, I just go to Add Materials, go to this Add File, Link External Tool. I click on a link, and I'm going to paste in my URL, and I'm going to give it a title. So for instance, I have another tab here, and I can just search for a document, and we'll take this one here, and I'll right click and get the shareable link. And then of course you want to make sure that your share settings are set so that anyone with a link can access it. And then I just go back to this tab here. I'm going to paste in the URL, and then I give it a title. Click Add, and now it's going to create that link right here. So now as a student, they could come into this course, and if we were on this particular unit, they could click in here and then they would have access to that document. So that's the first way to integrate Google Docs. Let's go to a second way. So the second way is to go to Add Materials and then go to Import from Resources. And then we'll click on Apps and Google Drive here. And now I get this interface where I can interact with Google Drive. And again, I can search for the file. And there's the one document, and now I just do to import and import link. And it's going to pull that in there, and there's the link to that document. And just like before, students can now have access to that file. So that's the second way. Now of course those two options are just giving kids access, or students access, to those files. So the third option for integrating Google Docs is a lot like what happens in Google Classroom. When I want students to get a Google Doc from me and then edit that document and turn that document back into me, this is how you would do that. So you would go to Add Materials and click Add Assignment, and we'll give it a title. And in this case, we're going to have them watch a video and then respond to the writing prompt in the Google Doc. And it's super simple to just embed a YouTube video here. We'll take this video right here, and I'm going to import it as an embed. So it's going to embed the file or the video right here. And then just like in what happens in Google Classroom, we're going to go into here and we're going to select this document here that I've pre-made. Select that and click Attach. And now it's going to create a copy of that for every student, just like in Google Classroom. I set the due date. I pick a category as homework, and I am going to use this race rubric to grade it. So now I can grade with a rubric, and here's what that rubric looks like. And I click Create. And now all of my students will get a copy of that in their Google Drive. Okay, so now I've switched over to my student account. And as you can see over here on the right hand side, I have that assignment coming up due on November 20th. And it's this assignment called Dogs in Ancient Egypt. So as a student, I click on that, and very similar to what we get in Google Classroom, I can now watch this video. I also, as a student, have the option of looking at the rubric, and now I can just click here on my document, and here is the Google document that the teacher gave me. And now in here I can write in my short paragraph on dogs in ancient Egypt. And I am going to pretend that I wrote that. And notice here, if students don't want to work in this window, they can just simply open it in its own tab, just like this right here. So I as the student now have given my answer right here, and now as a student I just click Submit Assignment and asking to confirm. Yes, submit. And all done. It is now submitted back to the teacher. I now only have suggesting edit rights, so as a student I can only come in here and whatever I type is just a suggestion. So as a teacher, I know that this student did this after they submitted it. So now I'm going to switch back over to the teacher view. And now as the teacher, I see this one ungraded assignment here. So if I click there, There it is. I click and it takes me into that assignment. And right here I can look at in progress. There are none in progress, but I now see that this student has submitted the assignment. So over here, as you can see here, this is what the student typed in, and there's that part that the student typed after they had submitted it. And now I have all of the tools of Google Docs. Of course, I can go in here and I can make comments, so on and so forth. If I don't like this view, again, I can always open it in its own window and go in here and make my suggestions and feedback and so forth there. Because I chose to grade this with a rubric, I can now open this and now I can go through the different parts of it. And they get a 4 on that one, they get a 3 on that one, and they need some more contextual evidence. So now they have a 12 out of 16. I click Save. I also have options here to put some comments in here that the students can see as well. If I want the student now to get this back and make revisions based on my feedback, I can click Unsubmit here, and then the student would have the option of doing that, and then they could submit it back to me a second time as well. So those are the 3 ways of integrating Google Docs into Schoology.